Hello everyone, welcome back to another review. Today I'm going to review the show This World Can't Tear Me Down, which is surprisingly the continuation of Terrell on the Dotted Line, with everything the same with its characters and plot, but the different thing about it is its message. With the message of the first one being suicide, grief, and finding purpose. That makes me like sad boy TikToker for 2 days. This new show tackles the very prevalent topic of social injustices like discrimination, addiction, and immigration. Just like the first, the handling of the topic at hand is executed very well, with real examples and true events that makes this show kind of like a commentary. Plus, we cannot doubt the characters that make this all come to light, with each of the previous characters having their own like new issues to deal with. First, we have Sarah, which is her dealing with her position in the friend group, feeling like she is at the start and feel like she is not progressing in her future, kind of like Zeko and Zero are. Speaking of Zeko, even though he didn't really do much in the first one, he kind of gets some development here, surprisingly. And his development is, we find out in the second of the last episode, he was an orphan at 15, and he did everything for himself and would never be mean to anyone less fortunate than him, which is very surprising to me. Then we have Zero with his new trouble, if his newfound fame as a cartoonist, with him wanting to speak out against a certain thing we'll touch on later, and him trying to be picked up by like a different studios. But his main issue is the new character Cesare, who is the most heart of the show. This show kicks off when Cesare, who is Zero's childhood friend, moves to town, and through sudden events, Zero realizes that Cesare is affiliated with the Nazis, like group that is rising in Rome. The Nazis' goal is to try and shut down an immigrant shelter in town, and to do this by spreading hate posters and politicians. So throughout the series, you see the relationship between Zero and Cesare unfold, and you realize how sad of a character Cesare really is. The show does a really good job to sympathize with him, being an addict and suffering in rehab, and him coming back feeling like a ghost and being abandoned by a community that does not remember him. His reasoning for joining the Nazis in the first place is because he thinks that the government should take care of more people like him who are suffering from like addiction and stuff, either than the immigrants. He is not like the others in the group. He wishes them no harm, but for his voice to be heard, he really has no choice to join them. One thing I really like about Cesare is that the fact that they didn't make his conflict black and white, and how they put a different perspective on the topic that gives you a better, more open understanding on like a complicated person and a complicated topic. It really teaches you that people would always have a different reasoning and opinion than most people in the world of like a certain group. He somewhat gets redeemed at the end by rebelling against the Nazis and being beat up and separated. Yeah, he somewhat does, but like it all ties to the ending, which the ending is really not like the first show. It isn't optimistic and hopeful. Instead, it's pessimistic, downbeat, and leaves you wondering what could happen, which I am not really a fan of. I really like the more conclusive ending that the first show had, and that might be my only negative, because I would have loved to see Cesare kind of get fully redeemed, but hey, man, it is what it is, and I don't think they wanted to be like repetitive or something. To change the topic and to not end on a negative note, I'm going to talk about what I think the show improved on from the first, and that is a comedy. A comedy of the first show relies on obscure Italian references that people only specifically in Italy would like know, and some pop culture references here and there. But this show's comedy is out there, is to where everyone can relate to. Like, there's clever jokes about Stranger Things, House of Cards, Spider-Man, even the soundtrack has some more relatable songs, like I Fought the Law at the beginning, Friday I'm in Love by The Cure, Clash references, punk references in the 80s, shit like that. So in conclusion, This World Can't Tear Me Down is a worthy continuation of Terrell on the Dotted Line. It improves on some things the other did, shows brilliant, interesting, grounded characters, and it depicts real-life issues in a great way. So I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. And if you like this review, go check out my review on the previous series, Terrell on the Dotted Line. And if you like cartoon reviews in general, you should check out my channel and check out my recent review on The Hollow. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Be sure to subscribe if you're new. Yeah, I don't care what you do.